In this week's Torah portion, we have a very powerful story. Moses is approached by the Jewish people and they ask for fish and watermelons. And they say, we remember the great food we had in Egypt, and we want to have that food back in the desert. Why did you take us to the desert to suffer on the way to the land that God promised us? And Moses says, I have enough of these people. And he asks God, God, please take my life. And the question is, this is not the only time the Jewish people challenged Moses and God. But yet, why, when it comes to this story, that the Jewish people asking for more food, for watermelon, for fish, and the bread that they had in Egypt, does he complain to God and say, God, take my life? And you see, Moses is not the only prophet that did so. When Elijah fails to turn the Jewish people back to God, he also tells God the same thing. God, I have enough. I failed my mission. Take me. Jeremiah, the same thing. And so too with Jonah, the prophet. He also asks God to take his life. And God obviously doesn't take their life, and they remain prophets for the Jewish people. But what is the message God's trying to tell them? You see, what disturbed Moses so much is that he takes the Jewish people out of Egypt. He shows them a greater way how to live. Yes, there's challenges, there's trying times, there's things that they have to adapt and understand. But you're free. You're not a slave anymore. And yet they tell Moses, we want to go back to the old food that we had, telling Moses that we haven't changed inside. You took us out of Egypt, but you haven't taken the Egypt out of us. We are still mentally and emotionally stuck in Egypt, and for that, Moses feels like a failure. And so too with the other prophets. But God says, no, you must stay with your people. You must stay alive and continue leading the Jewish people. You know why? Because being a Jewish leader isn't enough when everything is going your way. You lead. No, even when you have to go against the current, when you're fighting and everyone's against you, you still continue pushing. And that's what God is trying to tell Moses. And this is what we're seeing with the Jewish people today with the attack this morning on 6/13. Today is 6/13. The attack started on the 13th day of June. Obviously, the 613 commandments, the most important commandment is to save and spare another life. And how many lives were saved because of the attack this morning? The Jewish people in Israel did the greatest mitzvah of the 613 mitzvahs, which is to destroy the enemies of the world and of the Jewish people. May we merit to see the downfall of Iran and the rise of the Jewish people and the rise of Israel with the coming of Messiah. Shabbat Shalom.